back. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show, reaching you live from Enugu, Southeast Nigeria. My name is Nathalie Oko. And of course, it is Thursday, one day closer to Friday. And we're all pretty excited. I hope you are as well. And you're able to finish, well, your to-do list for the week. If you're not, I'll start with my end of the year pressure again. It's late. Maybe Oji will defer today. Oji, is it too late to start your to-do list on a Thursday?
No, Tuesday feels like Friday, by the way. I don't know, I just have that feeling like it's in the air. Like it's a day to the weekend, but it's a day to the weekend, right? But we're here. Welcome. Good morning.
We're here because we're here. I like that. We're here because we're here. You know, sometimes just do things just because. Barrister Chidi Ujoatumba is here, human rights lawyer, CEO of Ujoatumba and Company. Barrister Chidi, happy Thursday to you.
Happy Thursday.
I'm now learning from Oga on set. Happy Thursday.
I like watching you guys.
Happy Wednesday.
Do
happy
your things.
Tuesday. Happy Monday.
No, he said it was Happy Tuesday. Remember? I was there.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty,
Okay.
yes, of course you're guilty. And speaking of being guilty, the MBA conference come to an end, and lots of people are speaking about the gains of the conference. How would you describe the fallout, the gains of the MBA conference? Are you also, should I say, praising the state for its hospitality?
When you want to calculate gains, you put everything into consideration. The hosting, the issues that were discussed, the discussant, the outcome, you understand. Our this thing, the slogan for this year is stand out and stand tall. And that goes to every department of legal organization, be you a lawyer, be you a judge, or in any way you're working, it concerns you. So in my own judgment and opinion, from the hosting to what the governor, I mean, they called me from Lagos yesterday, a law firm that I'm handling a case for called me from Lagos yesterday. They were unable to attend the Barr conference, but what they heard, really made them know that a lot of work was put into its organization, and it came out very well. And the discussions and the policies and the issues that we looked into concerning Nigeria, the economy, practice and rule of law, and all the rest of we so much believe that for the next 12 months now and beyond, we're going to try as much as possible to stand out and to stand tall in all issues that concerns law in Nigeria. And you saw how this the NBA president actually held his ground when it comes to the fact that we will not have this NBA AGM meeting at Port Harcourt because of what we believe is a fundamental rule of law that was breached, and we stood by him, and at the end of the day we had a successful outing in Enugu within the shortest possible time. I think it's what it was celebrated.
Some legal practitioners who participated said they were disappointed in Enugu. They said they thought that they would come in and see massive insecurity, that they will come in and see dirty environments, issues everywhere. The Southeast, they were just like, why Enugu? But then they were sufficiently disappointed by the outcome.
They have to, because in the past, you see, the Southeast has been bedeviled with a whole lot of insecurity issues. But lately now, if I can use that word, after the arrest of you understand, a whole lot of its issues we are put to rest. We now know who calls it short, and who have been, kind of fueling the insecurity that has been bedeviling those in the Southeast. And also, the governors have also been doing a lot on their own various states to curtail insecurity. I pray that it continues like that. People were actually disappointed, I have to be honest with you. They went about their business, nobody harassed them, there were no molested, and there were no kidnapping incident, and all the rest of them. So I think it's something worth celebrating. All
right, let's take a look at headlines making the rounds this morning. Of course, so many stories. We'll begin with the Daily Times, and the top story here, of course, borders on insecurity and security, trying to maintain that. DSS arraigns 9 suspects over Benue Plateau killings. FCTA revokes all park allocations in Abuja, orders fresh screening. Also on the Daily Times, rescued Nigerian girl warns youths against irregular migration. Corruption has eroded Nigeria's economic prosperity. This is according to a report from Chatham House. U.S. government commits $32.5 million to UN World Food Programs in Nigeria. Moving on to the New Telegraph. INEC, we're working to ensure Nigerians can vote anywhere in the country, says the National Register of Voters may draw from Citizenship Register as NIMC to deploy officials to registration centers during nationwide CVR exercise. Federal government's 20.59 trillion naira non-oil revenue in 8 months, strongest fiscal performance in recent history, according to the presidency. And security, Tinubu calls on governors to work with NAS on state police creation. 2027, Tinubu not weaponizing EFCC, ICPC for political witch hunts, according to the federal government. CBN mops up 1.19 trillion naira excess cash from economy. Digital lending, federal government moves to tackle abuse with stiff regulations. Away from New Telegraph to Nigerian News Direct. Leaving Nigeria through illegal migration is voluntary suicide, NIDCOM warns, as agency receives another rescued youth from Libya. Traditional ruler residents commend Ogun government as Shango-Abeokuta Expressway nears completion. 2 years anniversary, Sanwo-Olu slashes fare on Blue Line by 50%. Northeast governors visit Tinubu, request completion of 17 roads oil exploration. Outrage in Bayelsa as police accused of freeing suspects in viral assault case. On this day, Benue Plateau killings, GSS arraigns 9 prime suspects. Still on this day, Nigeria's non-oil revenue rises 40.5% to 20.59 trillion naira in 8 months. Of course, we have other ones here. Death toll rises to 60 in Niger boat accident. And on the nation, Tinubu's victory in 2027, sure, says Abdul Mumin. Kwankwanso open to talks, president not to blame for nation's woes. Also here, Benue Plateau killing suspect pleads guilty to illegal arms possession. FCCPC to battle digital lending abuse, operators must register. President orders MDAs to implement health insurance. Why additional loan payment is delayed by Nelfund. And lastly here, Dangote Group disowns truck involved in Enugu accident.
Okay, starting from the Punch. APC opposition clash over FG's revenue growth claim. Presents counterfacts, presidency tell critics. Revenue nothing without results, says opposition. Economists query Tinubu's no more borrowing assertion amid 13 trillion naira deficit. My reforms have restored Nigerians global respect, says Tinubu. Non-oil revenue jumps 40% to 20.6 trillion naira, says presidency. NARD insists on strike, says over 2,000 doctors owed. Security concerns behind visa cancellations for Nigerians, orders attributed to the US. MTN, 15 orders remits 54 billion naira in education police taxes. Free killed in Lagos Masquerader Festival clash. And lastly, right on the Punch, terrorists recruited 1,364 West African children, shot 14,000 schools, says UN report. Daily Trust. I can end banditry in 2 months. Zamfara governor, and the quote here says, I swear to Almighty Allah, wherever a bandit's leader is located within Zamfara state, I know it. And if he goes out, I know. With my mobile phone, I can show you where these bandits are today. Close this quote. 29 die in Niger boat mishap. Northern Elders Forum calls for state of emergency on insecurity. Northeast governors meet Tinubu, seek oil exploration roads completion. FG introduces AI robotics in new curriculum. Touts chase couple to death in Abuja. Moving over to The Guardian. Insecurity. FG reopens debate on state police as Tinubu declares readiness. Non-oil growth accounts for 20 trillion naira income, says presidency constitution review. Abbas unveils proposed amendment to southern stakeholders. DSS arraigns 9 suspects over Benue Plateau killings. ADC folds Tinubu's charity plan for National Library. Zulum leads Northeast governors to Tinubu seeks completion of 17 roads oil exploration. Digital lenders face 100 million naira fine for consumer abuse data privacy violations. Airline operators defend discriminatory expensive Yuletide flights tickets. Holy Lecturers may withdraw services after ultimatum. Contractors storm Abuja, demand 4 trillion naira payment for completed projects. Moving over to Daily Global. Banditry. I have to create state police, says Tinubu. Tout reportedly lynched as family of 4 killed in Abuja. Obebolo rallies support for Team Edo as athletes dominate national youth games. ASU, others won't go on strike, minister assures. And this one reads, Zulum leads North-East governors to Tinubu requests completion of 17 roads oil exploration. Moving over to Amebo newspaper, the last one right here. Bandits meet their match. Brave Sokoto residents confront bandits, kill scores, rescue kidnapped community leaders, or members by the way. APC chieftain Alhaji Isa Omar Day lauds Governor Abiodun for progress on Abeokuta Sango road construction. Shangolu cuts Lagos Blue Line fares to 50% for anniversary. Ambassadorial slots still available, Tinubu tells Buhari loyalists. Burkina Faso junta passes law criminalizing same-sex relationships. Tinubu vows state police creation deploys drones to combat Katsina banditry surge. Police elevates force PRO to deputy commissioner, deploys him to Delta. Lastly, FG issues regulations for digital money lenders, defaulters to get 100 million naira fine.
All right, thank you, Oji, for those headlines.
Welcome.
All right, so many interesting ones here. We'll start from the national, then we'll come back to the region, and most definitely the states. New Telegraph, INEC, we're working to ensure Nigerians can vote anywhere in the country. Now, INEC has been providing regular updates on its various platforms, on its X handle, of course, telling us how many people have pre-registered online, how many voters have pre-registered, how many have come in person, and they've been doing that on a week-to-week basis. We saw week 1 and we saw week 2 as well. So they're trying to regularly update Nigerians so that nobody will say that INEC did not
carry them along.
We're all being, basically carried along in the whole process. But yes, the Southeast is still ranking relatively low according to the figures. And what's worse, we're receiving reports from correspondents in the region that INEC officials are keeping quiet. They do not want to speak. They keep on saying they need to consult this person and then get approval before they actually speak, even those who are in charge of publicity. And that's a major concern if you're dealing with low awareness, right, or low motivation to vote. What's your take on INEC's efforts to ensure Nigerians can vote anywhere in the country, specifically through technology?
Okay, it's a good one. It's there's nothing wrong in embracing technology, but my problem with INEC is an image problem. We test the transparency and the veracity of an organization with its outcome. So the election that INEC have conducted in the recent past, most of them they're really nothing to write home about. Voting is one thing, and the vote counting is an entirely different thing. INEC is good in building. They are good in developing technology that will enable them to get things done. But on a D-Day, they will fail you woefully. All those technology, all those money spent, there will be nothing to account for it. So there's nothing wrong in them ensuring that people will vote. But those votes that they will garner through technology and all this money that they want to spend, will those votes count at the end of the day? That's my question. Because in the recent past, people's votes have not been counted in Nigeria. So we keep on wondering, should we keep on, putting INEC in the budget? Should we keep on spending money? Should we keep on making all this? What does INEC even do during non-election years and period? What do they really do? They don't fortify themselves. They don't ask themselves this question. What were the complaints of Nigeria in the last election, and how can we correct it in the upcoming election? They won't do that. They will be bought over by the ruling political party, and at the end of the day, they will tell us to go to court.
Okay, this day, insecurity, Tinubu pushes for state police is back on the conversation again as he hails civilian JTF. We got the news of what happened and how citizens confronted
In
Sokoto, and even killed scores of bandits, rescued kidnappers.
Rescued a leader.
I think at the assertion once made by a general that it's time for Nigerians to, start defending themselves by themselves. They took it personal. At this point in time, and also the state police conversation being on the front burner again from the presidency. What's your take?
And if I can add to that, I think there's a governor that said that he has all it takes to, Zamfara, am I correct?
Yes.
To wipe out bandits, that he knows where they are, he knows their itinerary, when they go out and when they come back. You see, let me tell you, insecurity is a cankerworm, okay? And it's not something that we should just leave to only the leaders to take care of. All we need are listening leaders. If we have listening leaders, when people complain that they are besieged, when people complain that they are being terrorized, don't just play lip service to their complaint. Let's rise and defend Nigeria, because a few bandits over there in the bush, because they have arms, cannot take over the territorial integrity of this nation. You see, that call was taken personally by these Sokoto indigenes, and the way they moved out there to defend themselves. Let me know who will now tell them that they don't have the right to defend themselves. You cannot wait for state police to be completely established before you do one or two things to defend them. If Mr. President is really serious to make state police a reality, I will advise him to take it serious the way he took tax reform. You saw the way he took tax reform. The moment it came, his man is there now to pass everything into law. You understand? Let it go through the necessary readings. You understand? Nigeria is overripe for state police. Intelligence gathering is in the local area. You understand what I'm talking about? So this state police will enable Nigerians and all the states to know who is causing this mayhem, where they are, how to tackle them, and also how to secure their state. I think it's right. Long overdue.
All right, we're going to quick break now. When the monitor returns, we'll continue to assess headlines and bring it back to the states. Now, of course, we can recall that tongues were really wagging yesterday concerning events in the southeast, and this time it was on a really tragic note. This morning, the papers are telling us something different. The company that was accused is denying ownership of the truck, despite the truck carrying its logo. The monitor returns in seconds. Stay tuned. Welcome back as you're watching the Afia Monitor. Thank you for staying tuned. Of course, we're still looking at newspaper headlines this morning. Now we have a really, shocking story. Of course, this made it to the front cover of the Nation newspaper. Dangote Group disowns truck involved in Enugu accident. Now, several people were reported dead following the impact of a truck that was alleged to have belonged to Dangote Group. And this is coming barely days after former BB Niger housemate Fina lost her sister as an aftermath of an impact, of course, of another truck. But Dangote is coming out this morning to say that despite the fact that the truck carried its logo, it was not a part of its fleet and belonged to yet another third-party company, pledging to carry out investigations to find out why this truck had its logo. And that also spells bigger problems for Dangote Group if some third-party operators are bearing its logo without its knowledge. Barrister Chidi, what's your appreciation of this matter?
It's a very sad story. My heart goes out to the family of those who lost their dear ones. And I think it's high time we arrested this issue once and for all. Like I told you here on a few days ago when we are talking about the other case, I know that the fleet of vehicles, they are not all of them are directly linked to him. But if he will allow his logo to be on any vehicle, he will bear is a vicarious responsibility. Because the way these people drive, there are allegations that most of them are not well trained, and most of them, the things they are carrying, they will not allow anybody to either stop them or to investigate them, and that's why they drive with that kind of recklessness and speed. It must be brought to an end, and I think the earlier, including him and those third party, the earlier they start paying, the better, because if there is no deterrent to this uncontrolled accident, because people are dying, people are losing their life, and at the end of it, you give them money to conduct burial. For how long? Go and look at records of people who have all over the nation. It's not just these ones that were recording this time around. It has been going on and on and on. There was a time people said that if Dangote truck kills you, that definitely that there's nothing that your family would do, and that's the way it is. Because either they come and deny, or they will come and say they will take responsibility of the burial and expenses and everything. I've never seen anyone of them going to court, going to prison, or being arrested. So I think the government should look into this, and something drastic needs to be done as quickly as possible.
Why sir, we don't hear litigations when these things do happen?
They settle out of court. I've been involved in their case before.
Yeah.
I told you about a lady who came to do her wedding here, and she was crushed to death. And they came and they said, is it a ritual or what? The moment they will come, they will say, we want to settle out of court and we're going to take care of the burial expenses, and the case will just die a natural death. And it continues with a depressing regularity. Something needs to be done, whether they are directly linked to him, whether they are carrying his logo, because those who are carrying his logo, they also pay back, they also pay certain amount of money.
Yeah.
They pay remunerations to the company, because they're using the company's pack, they're using the company name, they're using the company goodwill and all the rest of them. So when accident of this magnitude occurs, including Dangote and anybody that is involved should be held accountable.
The question is, do they pay money back to the company?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Let me give you an instance with a Peace Mass Transit. Okay, it's not all vehicle that you see that Peace is written on. They are directly linked on him. Yeah. So people can come and buy a vehicle and say, we want to join your transport. There are terms and conditions. Maintenance is your own. In a week, you have to bring 30% of money realized back to the company, because they are paying salaries and they are doing all a lot of businesses there. So including what you call it, cargo and all the rest of them. The same thing is also applicable to Dangote when it comes to carrying cement, carrying salt, carrying all products that are being produced by Dangote. Someone can buy a truck and brand it Dangote truck. They must know the vehicle number, they must know the pack, they must know what it carries, where it operates, the route and the line that it operates. So they do remuneration, they send money back, and he knows this third party registered vehicle. He knows the business that he's doing with them. So he cannot deny that they are not Dangote truck. You cannot deny. If you allow your logo to be on a vehicle, and if you will allow them to pay remuneration, and when the time of accident occurs, you will not start denying them. I think it's a big shame on this company.
Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves, all right? Now, Dangote Group explained that investigations revealed that the truck was found to belong to Visco Investments Global Limited, a third-party operator. Can you, from a legal perspective, break down what it means to be a third-party operator? Because that's what this Visco group was described as. What does that essentially mean? Okay,
third-party arrangement is a situation whereby the actual parties can now say, can we bring in more people who can now come as partners? But we are 100% free of liability. You understand? If the vehicle breaks down, they will repair it. If the vehicle gets stolen, it's their business. Once they bring in this vehicle, it will carry our brand. There will be a separate arrangement where a certain percentage of money they will make will be plowed back into our own business. Now you are making just money. You are using your name to make money. You are using just that name, Dangote, is all they need to make money. They carry your vehicle. The owners of the product will pay. They will, it's not. You understand what I'm talking about? The owners of the product will pay. They will ferry it to its necessary destination. When money is paid in, go and check the money that is paid in. Sometimes it's not even paid into that third-party account. It's paid into Dangote's account. They will now be who will do the deductibles and then pay your company their percentage you agreed with. So it's a business operation that is very, very legal. You understand? Third-party arrangement is done everywhere. Even in government, that's what we call PPP. You understand? Whereby the government can come and bring people, and now they can do a certain business, and running of the business and ownership of the business will be shared among the parties that were brought into that business. So it's I don't know why they're trying to deny. He is 100% liable to the extent of his liability according to the arrangement and agreement he entered with that third party. It's to that extent that he's liable.
It's too much for the establishment at this point in time, though. But I'm asking this question: the way Dangote,
what can we do?
No, first,
okay,
we'll get that.
Okay,
the way Dangote handled Fina's late sister's case, what would you say about it?
Well, the criticism there was sometimes when something have happened, there is nothing that you can do to bring back, someone who is already dead. But the way we handle the situation matters a lot. That very letter that was signed by, I think, was it the manager of a group of one of his companies? I don't think it was enough. I think Mr. Dangote himself would have been the one signing that letter. His presence would have made a whole lot of difference. Going closer to the family that suffered as a result of that, you understand, consoling them, placating their embittered spirit, signing that letter himself. I know that you would definitely give them something at the end of the day, but going closer to that family, it will give them that kind of respect. It will give them the closure that they really, really deserve. I think he should have done more, okay? And on the other hand, I think he should review his first party, second party, or third party operators, anyone that has to do with him, be it a vehicle or a fleet or anything that's moving that bears that name Dangote. He should review their vehicle and tighten and look into those who actually drive this vehicle, because people are losing their life and we can't keep on expecting him to behave very well after so many.
We understand that third-party operators also refer to affiliates, but in this case, Dangote is not only disowning the truck, but saying that it's still conducting investigations into how and why the truck was bearing its logo. So it looks as if this is some sort of copyright issue, or not copyright, some kind of passing off issue where you go ahead and just so they don't know this. They're saying this truck does not belong to their fleet. They don't know how.
This is an entirely different scenario here. If Dangote totally is denying that, yes, passing off is reality. A lot of people are passing off a lot of companies' logo, a lot of companies' branding, and all the rest of them. So that's why probably we have to wait before we make conclusions. Let proper investigation be conducted. Let's look into the registration plate number. Let's look into the company. Let's look into how a different people can own a company and it's bearing the logo of a different company. It's really confusing.
I think the story conflicts itself, because the third-party operator should be known to the actual parent company.
Exactly.
Right? But in this case, so except from the statement, Dangote says, moving forward, increased scrutiny will be applied to the unauthorized use of our brand identity, particularly the misuse of our logo on vehicles not affiliated with the group. But then this daily, the report says third-party operator. So could it be a misuse? Yeah, because third-party operator, there's a gap. So that third-party operator, I don't think it reflects what the statement actually reads.
Yes.
Which could be some kind of, I don't know. Because third-party should be known, right?
Definitely. Let me paint the two scenarios that we are looking at here. One is a situation whereby there is a third-party operator who you know, who you are dealing with, who is registered under your brand. Another one is that there's a third-party operator who is, passing off your company logo. These are two different things. That's why he really has to come in and let it be an open investigation so that we can actually get our hands on the real story. Are there really third-party operators? Because let me tell you one thing. On the downline, people could do one crooked things, you understand? Because this is a fast-growing business. So let's do it this way, because once people see the name Dangote, we are good, okay? Fine, I know it happens, but we really have to wait and see how the investigation goes. Because when I see a vehicle bearing Dangote, I won't have to wait to see the documents, you understand, or carry out investigation before I now make a conclusion or say this is what is going on. We are going through a lot here, and I think the police really have to investigate the companies and all the people that are involved before we make the final conclusion.
Let's get to the way to go, right? But before we get there, I want to bring to your thoughts something that was happening in yesteryears, in the 80s, around 90s and all that. Heavy duty trucks only ply the Nigerian roads at night. But these days, this incessant accidents we've been experiencing, right, during the daytime, what's the way to go? Is it time for us to revert to that concept of the yesteryears?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that needs to be done. Even people also travel during the night. But how good are the roads? Are they lit enough for you to travel at night? There's also risk associated with traveling at night. You cannot underestimate that. Insecurity is also a problem. Is it not good for me to travel during the day so that I can see what is trying to happen to me? Most of these roads, because in most of these roads, you understand, they are laden with bandits. And if you are traveling and you are carrying an essential commodity, you need adequate security. That's one thing. Okay. What about the railroads? Have you noticed that when the railroads are functioning, you understand, you record less accidents, okay? You record less insecure activities, because the train is designed to carry a lot, you understand? And if we can revisit the railway system, let the whole Southeast be linked with rail systems and all the rest of them, it will reduce road accident. It will definitely reduce truck and road accident, and it also reduce the load that the load that the road is carrying. Okay, because the rail is one fundamental thing that you cannot remove from business. It crashes the prices of commodities because of its availability, because of its how will I put it now? The cost of using the rail system is less than fuel and all the rest of them. So it's something that we should try as much as possible to consider. But traveling during the night also has its own hazardous nature. You cannot take it away totally away from what we are experiencing these days. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Barrister Chidi, before we let you go, there's a major headline I would like us to look at, and that involves illegal migration. And I think it will be quite simple.
I thought we were going to talk about Mr. President telling us that the economy is going well and global.
We've been tackling that since yesterday,
okay.
By the way.
Is that good? Is that good?
Yeah.
All right.
Nigerian News Direct. Leaving Nigeria through illegal migration is voluntary suicide. NIDCOM warns. So we have this case where young girls who are made big promises, taken abroad, trafficked abroad, and then they get their passports seized, they are abused, forced into all kinds of illegal professions. It's not just what is made out to be. Now we have one of the survivors warning others that they should not go ahead and toe this line. Irregular migration, illegal migration is not good.
They have to work very hard. There's a cartel that propels this. A lot have lost their life in Italy, along the Sahara. Even some people that I know personally, you couldn't even trace them. They couldn't see him for like 2 or 3 years. Someone said that they saw his card, like ID card, along the Sahara Desert, which means probably he's dead. Also, there's a cartel that makes it look like this route it's possible, or going there to make money it's possible. If we go after those cartel, I think that we can bust them, and then we can save a whole lot of life. When they get there, they face a whole lot of harsh situations whereby they are forced into labor, into forced labor, where they are into prostitution and all the rest of them. I think Very Dark Man helped them to release some of them who were either they were en route to either is it Niger or what country is that? Libya the other time. So there's a cartel that makes, and they pay money. Once you hear that they are about to leave, they pay money, and some survive. Let me be honest with you, some survive through that means. So that's why you see it still going on. But those who are working on this cartel, they don't care whether you survive or whether you don't survive. It's none of their business. Their own is to collect money from you and put you either in one bus or in one train or in one flight, or take you through one route for you to get outside the shores of this country. If we can work to bust this cartel, we will reduce the rates by which people risk their life through this means of traveling.
This particular young girl was rescued from Libya, and God just saved her at this point.
If you hear their true life story,
trust me,
you will shudder.
You
will shudder.
We have.
You will really shudder.
We brought that to the fore on this program.
Do you know how long it takes to rehabilitate these people? When they come back, do you know the kind of human being they have actually become? They are very, very dangerous to the society. They have lost all sense of decency, and it's not something that you would want your sister to go through. I think the federal government have to work and into all these cartels and bust them and make sure that it's not possible for people to risk their life through that. But is that going to be enough? Are we not going to do a lot in this country to make sure that things that are not
conversation.
happening?
How do you make things
discourage them
for them not to be living in droves illegally?
They are living in droves.
All right.
So
is there any other headline you'd like to react to this morning, Professor Chidi?
No, I was looking at this headline where Mr. President is actually looking at this economy and telling us that everything is in shape, that the economy is thriving, and globally Nigeria have taken her place among all other nations of the world. And it makes me think whether Are we all living in the same country, or how can we be praising statistics? You understand why Nigerians are wallowing in hunger? You understand how can you be, looking at some certain statistics, Naira gaining this, Naira losing that? Is that how will that put food on the table of Nigerians? I think the government really have to work harder to ensure that their statistics translate into economic improvement. They translate into the reduction of the price of food in the open market. You understand? It is us, the people, it is the masses that would come out and say that the economy is actually improving. So when you hear the people in government, praising themselves, you understand, saying that to what extent can you do that? We've lost all sense of patriotism and political decency, that we can just come and say Nigeria is on a path of progress, and you go home and you feel cool and you feel like the word have left your mouth and everything is okay. I mean, something is wrong somewhere. Something is wrong somewhere.
Yesterday, I threw this question to Dr. Duname, Fine-Face Duname, that is APC government led by President Ahmed Tinubu still trying to validate their position in the country and save face the reasons why we see all these on the papers, but it doesn't reflect right there with a common man in the streets. We see all these juicy conversations on the papers on how our economy is now stable somewhat.
Speaking English language.
And we can't borrow inwards again because we have done what we have to do in 2025 and all that. But people are still suffering out there.
People are still suffering. Thank you, sir. People are still suffering. So you see, the yardstick for measuring the economy is not statistics. It's not government statistics. That's not the yardstick. If you give me time to analyze every policy that this government have embarked upon since its inception, you will know that they are not really doing well. Okay, but starting from removal of subsidy.
But to be fair to this administration, from indicators, by the way,
okay,
we know that the country the government they inherited.
It's not an excuse, Mr. Oji.
It's to be fair,
it's
right?
a political indicator to show that you know what you're doing.
Mr. Chidi,
like a coach.
So from indicators right now, we have to go through rigorous death processes before we get to the lights, right? And get to the life, right? So do you think from indicators that maybe somewhat, somehow, is a tweak, and this government is getting something right, but we just have to go through that pain before we gain?
You asked me this question when the removal of oil subsidy was on the burner, and I told you one thing, that you can only look at the way a country is being run, people that are involved, you understand the policy they have taken before, and you can predict. Political and economic prediction cannot be based in the limbo. It has to be based on things that are going on, and my answer is definitely no. I don't see light at the end of a tunnel. If it happens, it's maybe luck, sheer luck, or maybe because the Nigerian private sector, you understand, is robust. That's what is misleading them, because Nigerians are hardworking people, because Nigerians are setting up all kinds of business to employ people. It seems as though the federal government knows what they are doing. I don't think that they know what they are doing. Their policies are failing, both locally and globally. Unemployment is on the rise. Okay, educational sector is nothing to write home about. The naira that they floated, look at the power of the naira. Look at the power of the naira. Go and price food at the open market. These are indices. These are key performance indicators that we use to measure the health of any nation's economy.
That's right.
And when you don't get it right at that place, there is no amount of statistics or English language that you can use to convince somebody like me that you know what you are doing.
All right. Thank you, Barry, for your assessment this morning.
Thanks.
Really, really lovely points. Thank you once again.
Thanks, love.
I hope you were able to discuss all the headlines.
Yes.
He's satisfied.
He's satisfied, totally. I mean, when you start saying, it means you just one more time. Don't worry. We'll do a poll and maybe extend the review for another 2 hours.
No problem. Yes.
Or we'll take a unanimous decision.
Okay. All right.
All right.
There will be a vote into that.
A vote, yes, for INEC and 2027. The morning show returns in just seconds as we take a regional story concerning, INEC. Stay tuned.